Welcome to Brain Vision.
Okay, so in this problem, we have a tunnel which is 2 kilometers long. So we can say that the length of the tunnel is 2 kilometers, which is equal to 2,000 meters. And in part A, we are supposed to figure out which frequencies could possibly resonate in this tunnel. So the way that we do this, since the tunnel has to be open at either end, because otherwise cars couldn't get in and out, we can model this as a long tube that's open at both ends. So in order to find the fundamental frequency, we have to consider, what would happen if there's an antinode at both sides and then just one node in the middle. So then our standing wave would look something like this, where the length, L, of the tunnel is going to be equal to half a wavelength. Because at one end of the tunnel, we're at an antinode. We go to a node halfway through the tunnel. And then at the other end, we've gone to the opposite antinode, but we haven't returned to the original one yet. So we've only gone halfway through a wavelength with the length of the tunnel. So to get the fundamental frequency, we need to say that F is going to be equal to the speed of sound divided by the wavelength, the fundamental wavelength. So we know that the length of the tunnel is equal to half the wavelength. So that means that twice the length of the tunnel will be equal to the wavelength. So then we can say that V is equal to, or V over 2L is the fundamental frequency. And V is just 343 meters per second, since the problem didn't tell us anything different. And then 2 times 2,000 meters. If you calculate 343 divided by 2 times 2,000, you'll get that the fundamental frequency is going to be equal to 0.0858 hertz. So this is our fundamental. So we'll call that F sub 1. So actually, we don't need to box that because that's not actually our answer yet. So that gives us the fundamental frequency, but there are more frequencies than just that can resonate. So any integer multiple of this is going to actually be able to resonate in the tunnel, since it is open at both ends. So if it was open at just one end, then we would only have the odd number multiples, odd integer multiples of the fundamental. But since it is open at both ends, we get all integer multiples. So the frequencies that can resonate, so we'll say that F is going to be equal to 0.0858 times N hertz. And N is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. So that is our answer for part A. So you may notice that, the increment between resonant frequencies is very small, which leads us into what we want to do for part B. In part B, we want to answer the question of whether or not it would be a good idea to prohibit honking someone's horn in the tunnel. And so if we look at which frequencies would resonate in this tunnel, we see that the increment between frequencies is very small. It's less than 1/10 of a hertz, which means that there is a wide range of resonant frequencies. More than 10 resonant frequencies for each hertz. So because of this, we can assume that most, if not all, car horns, if they honked in the tunnel, would end up resonating and end up being very loud. So we can say for our answer for part B that yes, it would be a good idea to prohibit honking the horn in the tunnel, because there are so many resonant frequencies. It is almost certain that a car horn would end up lining up with one of those resonant frequencies and then resonating within the tunnel. So yeah, that is how you do this problem.